Finally, we come to the end. The end. The last one we have here is called microevolution. Now, microevolution is really not evolution. Really, all it is a variation. Dogs can produce a variety of different dogs, can't they? Now, is that really evolution? No, it's just a simple variation.
Actually, it is evolution. Consider this analogy. Evolution is a mile, and microevolution is a step. How do you walk a mile without taking a step at a time? Of course, if you believe as you do that the Earth is 6,000 years old, then of course you won't have enough time to accommodate macroevolution.
This one is actually scientific, because science is things that we can see, test, and demonstrate, right? Now, can we see, test, or demonstrate the dog producing a variety of different dogs? Yes. So this one actually fits perfectly on the science table. The rest of the types of evolution are a religious worldview. They have nothing whatsoever to do with science.
It seems that your standard for calling something scientific is simply if you can observe it. If that's it then, Eric, you might as well say that the sun orbits the Earth. After all, it does move across the sky, does it not? It's only by using mathematics that we've been able to come up with the heliocentric model, and we know that it works because of the countless predictions that it's allowed us to make. Your methodology of determining whether something is scientific or not is based solely on intuition. For my take on the matter of intuition and its redundancy in science, refer to my video, the video that every creationist must see.
Now, the Bible tells us over and over, animals are going to bring forth after their kind. That's all they ever do is bring forth after their kind. They don't make brand new things. Evolution, in the sense that they want us to believe it, macroevolution and all the rest, those don't really happen. It's interesting. Teachers are told in the textbooks, be sure to stress that the earth is 4.5 billion years old. Well, why in the world would they stress that? Instead, why don't they stress some real science? Like the first law of thermodynamics. There's some good science. The first law of thermodynamics tells us matter cannot be created and it can't be destroyed.
The book that you're referring to is outdated. In any case, quote mining from a textbook meant for 7th graders doesn't really help your case much. Thermodynamics are irrelevant in certain fields of science, and in America different fields are taught in different years. Don't you remember school, Eric? This general science book is clearly introductory material that only covers the basics. A more specific science course like physics or chemistry will go over all of the laws of thermodynamics, but a course like physiology or environmental science wouldn't address the issue because it isn't relevant.
It can only be changed in form. Well, if matter can't be created or destroyed, I got a problem, because everything's made out of matter. You're made out of matter, I'm made out of matter, everything is made out of matter. Well, if matter can't be created and it can't be destroyed, then we got a question to ask. Where did it come from? Where did all of this matter that we see today, where did it all come from?
A fair question. All matter was originally energy that compressed into the singularity. The energy itself has always existed. It's just that in an infinite regression with zero mass, time cannot exist, so the energy existed in a timeless void until the Big Bang.
Ultimately, there's only two choices. Either somebody made it or it made itself. There's no other choice. Now, I believe in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Humanists do not believe that. Evolutionists believe that the universe is self-existing, that it was actually never created. Well, how do you get the world to make itself? That's a hard trick right there. How do you get the earth to just form? How do you get the universe to make itself out of nothing?
For the last fucking time, the universe did not come from nothing. As for the Earth, the process of accretion in which small boulders clump together to form bigger boulders is responsible. These boulders of heavy elements like iron and nickel coalesce by means of gravity until all of the dust left over from the nebula from which the sun emerged is gone.
Well, evolutionists were thinking about that for a long time, and finally they came up with an idea, and they called it the Big Bang. Okay? Tell me about your Big Bang. Here's what they say about the Big Bang, okay? Here it is in a textbook. Boys and girls, 18 to 20 billion years ago. That's a long time. They say all the matter in the universe. Do you know what universe really means? You know what you're really talking about there? The word universe comes from two Latin words, uni and verse.
You clearly just pulled that out of your ass. Had you done some research on the matter, you would have known that the word universe comes from the old French word univers, which in turn comes from the Latin word universum. True enough, uni means one. A 13-year-old could tell me as much. Versum, however, means something that rolls, rotates, or changes.
Uni means single. Verse means a spoken sentence. You really know what you're talking about there? Every time they say universe, they're talking about a single spoken sentence.
No, they're referring to one that rotates, rolls, or changes. It has nothing to do with sentences. But let's hear the masterful thinking of Eric Hovind and his genius conclusion that comes from the premise that universe means a single spoken sentence.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? The universe. We live in a universe, don't we? Did you realize we literally live inside of a single spoken sentence? I can even tell everybody what it was. And God said, "Let there be light." And it was so. We live in a single spoken sentence, just like the Bible told us. Anyway, 18 to 20 billion years ago, all the matter in the universe was concentrated into one very dense, very hot region that may have been much smaller than a period on this page. Excuse me? All the matter in the universe, sun, moon, stars, planet Earth, women's closets, everything squished into a dot smaller than a period on a page.
Well, not quite. All matter was in the state of energy. The singularity consisted of nothing more than energy.
That is a crowded dot. And really, really heavy. Guess what? That's not the first time that it's happened. It's happened before, and it's going to happen again. This textbook says, boys and girls, all the matter and energy will once again be packed into a small area. This area may be no bigger than the period at the end of this sentence. Then another big bang is going to occur. Yeah, it happens every 80 to 100 billion years.
This is just one of the schools of thought regarding the birth and death of the universe. Other schools of thought include an eternal singularity leading to a Big Bang due to graviton imbalances, followed by an eternal expansion that freezes or rips the universe. And yet another theory is that quantum tunneling from another universe's black hole caused the Big Bang. All of these models are mathematically sound, and all that's needed to vindicate any of them is data. You really ought to read modern scientific literature on the matter, not simplified text from 20 plus years ago.
Well, then I got some good news. You don't need to worry about global warming, but look out for global squishing. You are going to get squished, man. This guy was brilliant. In order to write a textbook, you have to be at least this smart. He says, boys and girls, in the realm of the universe, nothing means nothing. Ooh, deep. He says, not only would matter and energy disappear, but also space and time. However, physicists theorize that from this state of nothingness, the universe began a gigantic explosion.
Again, utilizing outdated books doesn't help your case. Nobody thinks that something exploded from nothing.
Wait a minute. Did he just say nothing exploded and here we are? And he put that in a science book? And he's calling that part of science? That has nothing to do with science, man. That's a belief system. That's a religious worldview, for crying out loud. They even put that same idea in major scientific journals. Scientific American, look what it says. The observable universe could have evolved from an infinitesimal region. That means a dot. They say it's then tempting to go one step farther and speculate that the entire universe evolved from literally nothing.
If any creationists are watching, point to the part where the journal says that something exploded from nothing. I dare you. Because as you can plainly see, he makes no such claim. Read it carefully, and decide for yourself if Hovind is a lying, dishonest bastard who just violated the 9th commandment, or if he's just plain fucking stupid.
Wow. This is what they're calling science these days. Putting it in major science journals. Discover Magazine did the same thing. Check this out. Where did everything come from? The universe burst into something from absolutely nothing.
This is on the title page and is designed to spark interest among unscientific readers. In any case, he clearly didn't read the article because it reports Alan Guth's discovery that the universe's expansion is accelerating, and that nowhere in the article does he claim that nothing exploded into something.
Zero! Nada! And as it got bigger, it became filled with even more stuff that came from absolutely nowhere. How is that possible? Ask Alan Guth, because his theory of inflation helps explain everything. That had better be one humdinger of a theory, if you ask me, okay? They call this science, though, and it just absolutely drives me crazy. That has nothing to do with real science. You say, okay, Eric, what happened to the dot? Okay, well, everything got into this little dot, right? And then the dot began to spin. And it spun faster and faster and faster and faster, and finally, the dot exploded. The Big Bang.
You can't possibly be this stupid. You're talking about what you think is the Big Bang, but you're referring to a text designed for 12-year-olds that doesn't even deal with the Big Bang. Do you not know how to read? Well then, Eric, have a seat on Uncle Crocoduck's lap and I'll read it for you. As the nebula shrank, it spun faster and faster. Gradually, the spinning nebula flattened into a huge disk almost 10 billion kilometers across. At the center of the disk, a growing photosun, or new sun, began to take shape. Eric, this deals with a nebula becoming a star. What the fuck does this have to do with the Big Bang? Are you so thick that you can't understand a textbook designed for 12-year-olds? You know what, never mind, I shouldn't even be surprised. You are, after all, this guy's son. Carry on.
Here's how they teach it on television like Discovery Channel. Here's what they show the people on Discovery Channel.
A little less than 14 billion years ago, the universe was born in a huge explosion of time and space, matter and energy called the Big Bang. Tiny quantum ripples grew into dense patches in the primordial brew. From these, galaxies condensed. A stunning variety of sizes and shapes.
So, that's how it happened, eh? All you got to do is make a video and everybody believes you. Well, in that case, I made a video. I decided if they can show their view of how the Big Bang happened, I'm going to show my view of how the Big Bang happened.
There are no subjective views of how the Big Bang happened. What are you talking about?
Here's my view.
A little less than 14 billion years ago, all the matter in the universe was condensed into a dot. The dot was very small, believed to be smaller than a period on a page. And then the dot began to spin and exploded. We call this event the Big Bang.
Whoa. What do you think, guys? That could have been how it happened, right? That's how it really happened. I can't figure out why Discovery Channel doesn't want to air my video. I don't get it.
Maybe because you're confusing the birth of a star with the birth of the universe, dumbass.
I was like, hey, I got evidence for you. Why don't you promote this thing?